You get a CP14 notice from the IRS. Let's break down exactly what it means and what to do with it immediately. This is the first notice that you receive, so you're still early in the process. The bad news is it means you owe the IRS some money. I'm Brad Paladini. I'm a tax attorney, and this is basically what I do all day, every day, help individuals fix tax problems so they don't lose everything or end up in jail. So here's what you need to know about the CP14 notice. It's the first letter that the IRS sends when you owe them money. It basically says, hey, you filed a return that had a balance due. You didn't pay it, and we're looking to collect that money sooner rather than later. So the letter should say how much you owe, what tax year it's for, and it should also list any additional penalties and interest that the IRS has already tacked on to the balance. So does this mean that you're in trouble? Not necessarily yet, right? This is as polite as the IRS gets. If you ignore things, they will escalate. So the CP14 is the first notice that you get. If you do ignore it, against my advice, you will likely receive a CP501, followed by a CP503, followed by a CP504, and then finally, a final notice of intent to levy, which could be an LT11, a letter 1058, or a CP90. So you can see that there are many notices to come, and often what happens is they all kind of blend together in your mind. You get a bunch of notices in the mail and can't really distinguish them apart. So know that the CP14 is the first notice that you get, and it's best to act now before you receive more notices. So what should you do if you get the CP14? The first thing is to verify that it is legit. It should have your name, your social. The first 6 digits or so might be redacted. It should say the tax year. Scammers do sometimes mimic these notices, so you want to make sure that it is legit. It should have an IRS phone number that you can Google and make sure that it actually goes to the IRS. Next, you want to make sure that the amount is legitimate. So look at the tax return for the year that they think you owe and make sure that the numbers more or less match up. Again, there could be additional accruals from penalties and interest. Sometimes the IRS does get it wrong, like a payment isn't applied yet, or they misapplied a payment to another tax year. So you want to make sure that the amount on this notice is correct. The next thing you want to do is come up with a response strategy. So if you can pay the debt in full, great. We always recommend paying online. That is the fastest way to get the balance cleared. If you mail them a check, the IRS is terrible lately opening the mail, and that could take weeks, if not months, for the IRS to actually open and process. If you can't pay it in full, you could set up a payment plan. There are different payment plans available, some of which you can apply for online. If you don't think that you owe this money, you could file an amended return. So if you think there is a mistake on your original return, you could file an amendment to get the balance corrected. If the IRS made some sort of mistake, you could also dispute it with the IRS in writing. So here's why the CP14 really matters. If you ignore it, the IRS is just going to assume you don't care, and they are going to escalate enforcement action. So at a certain point, they'll be able to file a lien. They'll be able to take your state tax refund. They could garnish your wages, and they could take the money in your bank account to satisfy the debt. You can avoid all that if you respond early, like now, like immediately. And if you need help, you can schedule a free discovery call with our firm. We're more than happy to help you out and respond to the CP14 notice if you need assistance. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I have more videos coming out on all of the various notices that I talked about. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss those.